Well, I was lucky yesterday to have a nice observation here on the farm, just in the trees behind me here, early in the morning. A nice adult Northern Goshawk landed in one of the tall trees. Sat there for about 10 minutes. I was watching it from inside the house. And then it flew down into some lower trees and then down into some lower bushes just in behind me here, because there's often a bunch of mourning doves that sit in there, and I think it was probably trying to flush them out. The last I saw of it, it flew north across the house, and I don't know if it was in pursuit of anything. It didn't look like it was. Anyhow, that was an interesting sighting because we actually had a pair of goshawks nesting in this local area last summer, spring and summer. And I was lucky enough to get occasional glimpses of them as the young came out of the nest in particular. And so I thought I'd just do a little video showing some of the photos I took of them during the nesting season last year. I was hopeful that they might return to nest, and I'd only had a few bits of information indicating that they might be still around. A neighbor of mine had seen one in October, and this was the first one I'd seen since late last summer. But they had seen one in October, and then one day out here in front of the house at my feeder, it looked like a blue jay had been caught in midair because there was just a few scattered feathers on the ground. I had heard a ruckus just before that, so these were fresh feathers, so it looked like it had been plucked right out of the air. And I'd seen them do that last winter when the blue jays, I could hear them screaming from in the house. I went out and I actually saw feathers drifting down onto the ground. Anyhow, I hope you enjoy the photos, and hopefully I'll have more to come if they actually do return to nest again this year. As last summer progressed, I would occasionally see adult goshawks flying out over the forest. They would typically circle and circle, getting higher and higher until I could barely see them, and they would eventually fade off into the distance. And I thought for a while they were just leaving, but I think they were just enticing the birds, the young birds, to come out of the nest. Eventually I saw my first young bird out of the nest, and it landed on my martin house one evening, looked around at its environment, and before long, over the next few weeks, we'd see the other young birds out, and they would often play in the air together, doing mock attacks on one another, flying in and out of the trees, learning their high maneuverability skills that the accipiters are well known for, accipiters being the bird hawks. So this was a lot of fun to watch. They'd even make mock attacks on our dogs sometimes, flying down and veering off at the dogs just at the last minute. That was a lot of fun to watch. And hopefully, if they do come back, they will nest again, and I'll be able to get some more nice pictures of them.